Picture two apartments in the same city, same street, same rent. Inside the first apartment lives someone earning $95,000 a year. The apartment is full of expensive things: big TV, designer furniture, unused gadgets. But every month feels stressful. One missed paycheck, and everything falls apart. Now look at the second apartment. The person living here earns only $52,000 a year. But this person has something powerful: financial breathing room. They have 18 months of expenses saved and invest every single month. Same neighborhood, but completely different financial lives. This isn't about income, it's about lifestyle. Let's start with something simple: a treadmill. Most people think it costs the purchase price, but it actually costs much more. Every object you buy steals money from your future. Most people don't realize how much their stuff actually costs them. A $30,000 boat can quietly cost thousands every year. Even something simple, like a treadmill, can cost hundreds just to store. Every dollar tied up in stuff is a dollar not working for you. Smart buyers calculate cost per use before purchasing anything. Minimalists remove anything they wouldn't buy again today. They also make spending harder and saving automatic. When your expenses stay low, wealth grows much faster. Two people can earn the same salary and live completely different financial lives. Every purchase is a choice between stuff today or freedom later. Stores are designed to make spending feel exciting, but smart people walk away from things they don't truly need. The difference between rich and broke often comes down to small decisions. A luxury car might feel like success, but investments quietly build the real kind of wealth. Most spending happens when emotions take control. Wealth grows when decisions become intentional. Your financial future is shaped by the path you choose daily, and the people who own less often end up owning much more. The modern world constantly pushes you to buy more. Most purchases happen without real thinking. Boxes arrive, excitement fades, the items stay, and slowly your space fills with things you rarely use. More possessions often create more stress. Minimalists choose simplicity instead. Less spending creates powerful financial momentum, and over time, momentum becomes wealth. The goal is not owning more things. The goal is owning your freedom. Most people never notice how fast possessions quietly multiply. Closets slowly fill with things we rarely wear. Many people own 3 times more clothes than they actually use. And every unused item represents money sitting idle. Minimalists focus on value instead of quantity. They also avoid upgrading things that already work. A working phone doesn't need replacing just because a new model exists. Those savings compound into serious wealth over the years. And that's when minimalism becomes financial power. Here's a powerful question minimalists ask about every item. If this object disappeared today, would you buy it again? Would you really go out and buy that bread maker again? Would you replace that fondue set collecting dust in the cabinet? Would you buy those clothes you haven't worn in over a year? If the answer is no, that item is costing you space and money. Minimalists remove anything they wouldn't willingly replace. Some items get sold, some get donated, and suddenly their homes feel larger and calmer, because owning less creates something extremely valuable. Every purchase you make is a vote for your future. The problem is, future you has to pay for today's excitement, and small upgrades slowly turn into financial chains. Minimalists think differently. They don't upgrade out of boredom. They upgrade only when something truly stops working. Every delayed upgrade becomes invested capital, and small decisions compound faster than people expect. A cheaper car doesn't make you poorer. It often makes you financially unstoppable. Minimalism isn't about sacrifice. It's about choosing freedom over clutter. Here's something most people never calculate: the lifestyle multiplier effect. One purchase almost always leads to many more. A boat doesn't just cost the purchase price. It requires fuel, maintenance, and storage. And those costs continue every single year. The same thing happens with almost every hobby. A home gym requires equipment, space, and upgrades. That space alone could cost hundreds every year. Even a backyard pool creates endless new expenses. One purchase multiplies into an entire ecosystem of spending. Here's where many high earners get trapped. They never define what enough actually means. Every time their income grows, their lifestyle grows with it, so their expenses rise just as fast as their income. The result is something strange. People earning more money still feel broke. Someone earning $300,000 can feel poorer than someone earning $60,000. Because the real difference isn't income, it's expectations. Minimalists decide what enough looks like before they start earning more. They define the home, car, and lifestyle that already satisfies them. So when income grows, the extra money goes into investments instead. And that difference compounds into massive financial freedom. Most people think wealth is about owning things, but real wealth is something very different. When your expenses are too high, you lose your freedom. You can't leave a bad job because you need the next paycheck. But when your expenses are low, everything changes. Savings create something extremely powerful. Options. You can leave a toxic job. You can take time off without financial panic. You can start a business because your survival isn't at risk. The person with fewer possessions often has far more freedom, and freedom is the real definition of wealth. Most people unknowingly enter one of two financial cycles. The first cycle begins with spending everything you earn. Spending everything creates financial stress, and financial stress often leads to even more spending. This becomes a destructive loop. But there's a second cycle that works completely differently. It starts with saving before spending. Savings grow into investments. Investments create security, and security reduces the urge to overspend. This is where life starts moving in completely different directions. In the spending cycle, people work just to maintain their lifestyle. More income leads to more spending, and more spending leads to more pressure. Eventually, everything depends on the next paycheck. But the wealth cycle works differently. Income gets split before spending happens. Savings slowly turn into investments. Investments create stability, and stability creates the freedom to save even more. But there's a deeper reason people buy so much. It's rarely about the object itself. Most purchases are about how we want to feel. Buying something new creates a short burst of excitement. But that excitement disappears surprisingly fast, and the object simply becomes part of the background. So people buy something new again. This becomes another invisible cycle. Real financial security doesn't come from owning things. It doesn't come from cars. It doesn't come from shopping. Real security comes from financial margin. When your income is bigger than your lifestyle, that gap becomes your freedom. Freedom to breathe financially. Most people never experience this feeling because their lifestyle grows as fast as their income. Every dollar gets absorbed immediately. Income arrives and disappears instantly. Minimalists break this pattern early. They create a gap between earning and spending. That gap slowly turns into wealth, and wealth changes everything. You stop fearing bad jobs. You gain the power to say no. And that power is real wealth. Most people think wealth means buying more things as their income slowly increases. But the truth is, wealth rarely comes from what you buy. Wealth comes from the gap between what you earn and what you spend. That small gap may look insignificant at first, but it grows stronger every month because money saved today begins working for you tomorrow. Over time, the growth becomes faster than most people ever imagine. What starts as small savings slowly turns into a powerful financial engine. And once that engine starts running, your relationship with money changes completely. You stop checking your bank account with anxiety and start checking it with confidence. Because your money is finally working while you sleep. Every purchase quietly asks a question most people never think about. Is this object improving my life or simply delaying my future freedom? Many expensive things feel impressive today, but quietly steal wealth from your future. But invested money does the opposite. It multiplies quietly in the background, and the longer you allow that process to run, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, the growth becomes powerful enough to support your entire lifestyle. At that point, work becomes optional rather than something you must do to survive. You gain the ability to choose how you spend your time. And suddenly, the person who owns less is actually the one with more. Because true wealth is not about owning things. It's about owning your freedom. Most people spend their entire lives trying to look wealthy instead of actually becoming wealthy. One life is filled with impressive possessions, the other is filled with financial freedom. And over time, those small decisions quietly turn into life-changing financial freedom. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe and tell me in the comments. What would you rather have 10 years from now? More stuff or more freedom?